Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamunatira Vanachariya. Yamunatira Vanachariya. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Tla Pravishtam Shnupa Paramahamsa Stotra Sutta Srimad His Divine Grace Sri Bhakti-vedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Yanta Vishnu Vishnu Paramamsa Totarasita Srimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Thakur Prabhupada ki jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai Shri Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki jai Ganga Mai ki jai Yamuna Mai ki jai Tulasi Maharani ki jai Bhakti Devi ki jai Shri Harer Nam Sankirtan Yagya ki jai Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai Nitai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Narayanam namaskritya Naram chaiva narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nasta Prayesha Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Striyam Rataistva Rishikeshwaram Swato Hiyaradhya loke patim ashasatenyam Tasam nate vai paripanti apatyam Priyam danayumshi yato swatantraha Striyo vrataistva rishikeshwaram swato Yaradhya loke patim ashasatenyam Tasam nate vai paripamti apatyam Priyam dhanayum shiyato swatantraha Sriyomrata istva rishikeshwaram swato Yaradhya loke patimashasatesyam Tasam nate vai paripantyapatyam Priyam dhanayum shiyato swatantraha Rishikeshwaram Swato Aradhya Loke Pati Mashase Tenyam Tasamnate Vai Paripantya Patyam Priyam Danayum Shiyato Swatantraha. Dravida Prabhu, would you like to please read? Okay, here is a mic.
Striyaha, all women, Vratai, by observing fasting and other vows, Tva, you, Rishikeshwaram, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Master of the senses, Swataha, of your own accord, He, certainly, Aradhya, worshipping, Loke, in the world, Patim, a husband, Ashasate, ask for, Anyam, another, Tasam, of all those women, of all those women, Na, not, Te, the husbands, Vai, indeed, Paripanti, able to protect, Apatyam, the children, Priyam, very dear, Dhana, the wealth, Ayumshi, or the duration of life, Yataha, because, Asvatantraha, dependent. Translation. My dear Lord, you are certainly the fully independent master of all the senses. Therefore, all women who worship you by strictly observing vows because they wish to acquire a husband to satisfy their senses are surely under illusion. They do not know that such a husband cannot actually give protection to them or their children, nor can he protect their wealth or duration of life, for he himself is dependent on time, fruitive results, and the modes of nature, which are all subordinate to you. Purport. In this verse, Lakshmi Devi, or Rama, shows compassion toward women who worship the Lord for the benediction of possessing a good husband. Although such women desire to be happy with children, wealth, a long duration of life, and everything dear to them, they cannot possibly do so. In the material world, a so-called husband is dependent on the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are many examples of a woman whose husband, being dependent on the result of his own fruitive actions, cannot maintain his wife, her children, her wealth, or her duration of life. Therefore, factually, the only real husband of all women is Krishna, the Supreme Husband. Because the gopīs were liberated souls, they understood this fact. Therefore, they rejected their material husbands and accepted Krishna as their real husband. Krishna is the real husband, not only of the gopīs, but of every living entity. Everyone should perfectly understand that Krishna is the real husband of all living entities, who are described in the Bhagavad-gītā as prakṛti, female, not puruṣa, male. In the Bhagavad-gītā 10:12, only Krishna is addressed as puruṣa. Param Brahma Parang Dhamma Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Puruṣam Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum. Arjuna says, you are the supreme Brahman, the ultimate, the supreme abode and purifier, the absolute truth, and the eternal divine person. You are the primal God, transcendental and original, and you are the unborn and all-pervading beauty. Krishna is the original puruṣa, and the living entities are prakṛti. Thus Krishna is the enjoyer, and all living entities are meant to be enjoyed by him. Therefore, any woman who seeks a material husband for her protection, or any man who desires to become the husband of a woman, is under illusion. To become a husband means to maintain a wife and children nicely by supplying wealth and security. However, a material husband cannot possibly do this, for he is dependent on his karma. Karma na daivanetrena. His circumstances are determined by his past fruitive activities. Therefore, if one proudly thinks he can protect his wife, he is under illusion. Krishna is the only husband, and therefore the relationship between a husband and wife in this material world cannot be absolute. Because we have the desire to marry, Krishna mercifully allows the so-called husband to possess a wife, and the wife to possess a so-called husband, for mutual satisfaction. In the Ishopanishad it is said, Tena tyaktena bunjita. The Lord provides everyone with his quota. Actually, however, every living entity is prakṛti, or female, and Krishna is the only husband. Ekale Ishvara Krishna ar sababhritya jare jaiche nachaite toiche kare nritya. Krishna is the original master or husband of everyone, and all other living entities, having taken the form of so-called husbands or wives, are dancing according to his desire. A so-called husband may unite with his wife for sense gratification, but his senses are conducted by Rishikesha, the master of the senses, who is therefore the actual husband.
Om Magyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadama Yam Dadati Swapadantikam Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpataravyaschā kripasindhuvya evacha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I just came to know recently that the melody of the Mahamantra I just chanted is the favorite melody of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So, yes. No, the melody I just chanted after Radha Madhava. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And our god brother, what is his name? He's a good Kirtaniya from Trinidad. Agni Dev, he found about it, and while Prabhupada arrived in Los Angeles, he was leading the Kirtan, and he was behind Prabhupada, the devotee, leading the Kirtan, and he started to chant this melody. He came to know that was favorite of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. And when Prabhupada heard the melody, he turned his face and looked at him approvingly. So, that's an anecdote I wanted to share with you. Oh, Jai, Haribo. I mean, I used to chant it sometime after chanting Radha Madhava, but I didn't know that was favorite of.
It's like a common tune after Jai Radha Madhava.
Huh?
It's kind of like a common tune after.
Yeah, it goes along nicely. Hare Krishna. All right, let's now talk about the verse we just heard. Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, she is reciting this verse showing compassion toward all women who worship the Lord to ask for the blessing, benediction of to have a good husband, which is natural, by the way. I mean to say, in this material world, Prabhupada said, after all, a woman needs a man and a man needs a woman, so they should marry and live peacefully, in Krishna consciousness, of course. That's the relative thing, because who's going to protect a woman from bad men? A good man. That's simple, no? So, in that sense, it is the relative and the absolute, no? What I'm saying is the relative aspect of seeing it, and what Prabhupada's mentioned in purport, and Lakshmi Devi also, is the absolute point of view, the spiritual, higher point of view, that actually in this material world, nobody can protect anyone. In the sense that everyone is under the laws of nature. Everybody has to die, to take birth, and get old, and get sick. So who can protect who? If we are all under the laws of nature, under our karma, So it's all relative in this world, in the sense some protection can be given, but it's relative. You can't protect anyone from dying, or getting sick, or having an accident, or whatever. So in that sense, inspire us to take more shelter of Krishna, of course. That's the idea. That's the idea behind this spiritual statement, to discourage us to depend totally, completely on husband or wife or relative or friends or whatever, because they are all fallible soldiers. Somebody who himself has to suffer, all these things, how he can protect anyone. So only Krishna can actually protect all living entities. In that spiritual sense, we have to understand it in that way, which is very important. So, and Prabhupada is saying that the gopis rejected their material husband and accepted Krishna as the real husband. Of course, the gopis are eternally liberated souls. Some of them eternally liberated, some of them joined the group of the eternally liberated souls. When Krishna came 5,000 years ago, some sages of Dandakaranya forest, when Lord Ramachandra was there, they were worshipping Gopal, Krishna, with the desire to become gopis. But when they saw Ramachandra, they became attracted to him, because he was very beautiful, of course. So they prayed to him to be accepted by him. But instead, he blessed them that in their next life they will become gopis and they will be with Krishna. And that's they are called Munichari gopis. Another type of gopi who also joined the group of the eternal liberated gopis were Shrutidhari gopis. The Vedas personified. They will also have this greed, spiritual greed. That's lobha called, greed, to develop the mood of the eternal gopis, how to love Krishna in a spontaneous attraction, They also became gopis in the next life. So, although apparently some of the gopis got married with other men, but they never were attracted to those men. In the Krishna book, it is explained that when Krishna played his flute at night, calling the gopis for a dance, the gopis who were married, they will go to see Krishna with their spiritual bodies. Their material body was next to their husband, sleeping. But in their spiritual bodies, they will go to dance with Krishna. And Krishna jokingly, he will try to sometime to send them back. Oh, you're married lady, what are you doing here so late at night? It's not proper, to do such a thing. Go back to your husbands. It's not moral what you're doing. And then the gopis became very angry at Krishna. He's speaking to them, and they will instruct Krishna. Actually, what is the use of those so-called husbands who are under the law of nature? You are the real husband. You are the real enjoyer. We eternally belongs to you. So give up your clever word and just dance with us. So anyway, this reminds me, once in LA, the devotees went to preach in college, and when they came back, they told Prabhupada, we went to preach in college, we sold books, and people were favorable. Prabhupada said, that's very nice. But one devotee said, one professor challenged us. He said that Krishna is immoral because he was dancing with the wife of other men at night. That's not very moral. That's not proper. And Prabhupada told them, you should have told this professor that actually Krishna created the whole universe. And since he created the whole universe, all women within the universe belongs to him. So if you have a woman, you are stealing a woman from Krishna. You are immoral, not Krishna. Krishna is allowing you, okay, you can have one wife, that's okay. But he's the real husband, So in that sense, a spiritual higher sense, Prabhupada is praying that all living entities are women in the sense spiritually as energy, energy. So the husband is the one who maintains the wife, isn't? So Krishna is the maintainer of all living entities. No? Nitya nityanam chetanam eko bahunam yovidadhati kaman. Although he's one and we are many, he's maintaining all of us. He knows all our desires. He's satisfying all our desires according to our, of course, of our, good or bad karma, of course, But he's the maintainer of everyone. Since he's the maintainer, he's the real husband. He's maintaining everyone. In that spiritual sense, we have to understand, because devotees sometimes get confused. What, am I a woman? No. So we know nothing about gender identity here. There's a lot of confusion nowadays about this gender thing, that is confusing people. Actually, yesterday one lady devotee asked me, she had to speak about gender, equality and whatever. What opinion said, actually we are not men or women. If some men think himself a woman or a woman think herself as a man, they are an illusion. Or even if they think they are women or men, whatever body they may have, that's also an illusion. Because after all, we are not these material bodies. So we are a spirit soul, so that they are all confused souls. So our duty is to enlighten them with spiritual knowledge. And the spiritual knowledge takes us higher, to a higher level of consciousness, to understand the absolute truth, to understand our role in this creation of the Lord. Everybody has a role. Externally, we may be man or woman or this or that, but internally, we shall always remember that we are eternal servants of Krishna. We are spirit souls. We are different from these bodies. So this illusion is very, very strong, very powerful to overcome, because it's very much ingrained in the mind and the consciousness of everyone. But Krishna is so kind and merciful, He gives opportunity to all those living entities to awaken their dormant, real consciousness, which is Krishna consciousness. So, under that circumstances, even Rukmini Devi also, when she wrote a letter to Krishna, asking him to kidnap her, because her brother Rukmi wanted her to marry her friend Shishupal, and Shishupal was actually an asura, a demon. So Rukmini Devi was desperate. What was the name of Rukmini's father? Bhishmaka. Maharaj Bhishmaka. He knew the desire of his daughter to marry Krishna, but because his elder son took that decision, he didn't intervene, you know. But Rukmini Devi, being desperate, she sent a letter to Krishna. And in that letter, she's saying, part of it's saying, that what is the use to accept a material husband with his body made of blood and urine and stool and mustaches. She described in a very graphic way what is the material body. You know, material bodies may externally look nice, beautiful, either men or women, but if you cut in a surgery operation, you will see inside is ugly, you know. It's horrible, all the blood and all the organs hanging there. It's not very attractive at all, you know. But that's the illusion of this world. It externally may look, you know, like that. So she's saying, I don't want to accept any mundane husband like that. I want you to kidnap me and take me, become your wife. Like that. So because in this material world, we are all suffering, you know, from old age, birth, death, disease, continuously after life. So how we can give shelter or protect anyone? We ourselves need protection, you know. Once a devotee asked Prabhupada, what is the worst enemy of the devotee? And Prabhupada said, the devotee himself. Because we are carried by our own mind under those illusions, believing ourselves, you know, something we are not. You know, at the beginning of the movement, some people are accusing of the devotee of being crazy because of the way they dress. And actually, there is one anecdote. One morning, Prabhupada asked one of his disciples to bring a toothbrush. You know, Prabhupada didn't use this plastic toothbrush. He used twig. In India, neem twig, and in West, there are no neems. He was using eucalyptus twig. So he asked one disciple to get him one of those. What was 4 in the morning, you know? So the devotee went to a park with a knife, trying to find, you know, the tree and everything. And he found one proper eucalyptus tree. So he climbed on it and sat in a branch. He was cutting a little branch, you know. And suddenly, a policeman with his flashlight, "What are you doing up that in the tree? Who are you?" And the devotee said, "I'm cutting a toothbrush for my guru." He called the sanatorium. They sent him to the madhouse, you know. The devotees have to go to get him, you know. Out, you know. So Prabhupada wrote an article, who's crazy, who's mad, you know. Explain philosophically, spiritually, who's actually mad, you know. When Prabhupada visited South America, I was recently interviewed by Nrsimhananda Prabhu, Siddhanta Prabhu, about, you know, Prabhupada's visit to South America. And I forgot to mention this one. So I'm mention it now. And the Prabhupada festival, they showed the interview, you know. Maybe some of you have seen it. Anyway, so in Venezuela, one morning also Prabhupada asked for a toothbrush. But the temple was on a hill, you know. So we had many trees in our courtyard, but there was no eucalyptus tree. But our neighbor had one eucalyptus tree in his courtyard. And it was 4 in the morning. You're not going to knock on the neighbor's house at 4 in the morning to ask him a favor. So one devotee jumped the wall of the neighbor, got on the tree and was cutting, you know, the branch. And suddenly we hear 2 shots. Fortunately, he was on the air, you know. The neighbor thought was a thief hiding. And to frighten him, he didn't shoot him, he shot on, you know, in the air. But the devotee came running, frightened, you know. But he brought the toothbrush for Prabhupada, you know. Another pastime of toothbrush. In Mexico, where Prabhupada used to go for morning walk, nearby the temple, a beautiful big park, huge park, you know, Chapultepec is name. So one morning, while walking, Prabhupada saw eucalyptus tree, beautiful big tree. And Prabhupada looked at it and told the devotees, I want that branch up there. The branch was very high, you know. It was difficult to get, you know. But devotee, we have to please Prabhupada, whatever he say, you know, we have to do something. So they decided to make a human pyramid, you know, climbing on each other's shoulder, you know, like, you know, from where some countries, Spain, for example, they have it as a sport. They call it castles. Whoever can make it higher is the winner. So they came to know that Gujaratis do that in India. So they invited them to Spain for competition, you know. And of course, Gujarati have more experience. They were the winners. So the TV interviewed them, and they asked them, and of course, India's more ancient culture. So can you please tell us from where this sport came, you know? And they said, oh, this came from Krishna. He will climb on his friend's shoulder to steal the yogurt, and sometimes they hang it very high, so we got it from him, this sport. So everything is related to Krishna, after all. Anyway, so the devotee in Mexico, they were trying to do that. They were not expert. That was the first time they're doing it. So they had to try like 3-4 times because they would fall on each other every time they tried. Finally, they grabbed the stick and fell along with it, you know. So they presented it to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada looked at it, examined it, and he said, sorry, but it's useless. He threw it away. But he appreciated the devotee's effort, you know, that they tried to please him, you know. So anyway, Hare Krishna. By the way, I'm leaving tomorrow to Mexico. We are this week, this coming week, all this week, we are going to celebrate Prabhupada's 50th anniversary of his first visit to Mexico. Many devotees are going to come. Prabhupada, Mexican Prabhupada disciple, Chichukananda, who took the movement there, is going to be there also. So, anyway, so do you remember the story I told you the other day? King Sudyumna? He was a woman for 6 months and a man the other 6 months. Because of a curse by Lord Shiva, you know. He entered the forest and became a woman because that forest was cursed, that any man can enter it becomes a woman. So her father, the king, was very much disturbed by this, and he asked one sage to help him, you know, to make his son become a man again, you know, because he became a woman. So the sage made a sacrifice to please Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva appeared to him and told him, well, I promised my wife, Parvati, that any man coming to this forest will become women, because they were in an intimate situation, and some sage came and she became, you know, a little disturbed by this. So he promised her that this forest will be private from now on. No man can enter here. So Lord Shiva appeared to the sage, and he told him, well, since I promised my wife this, I'm going to make an agreement. He will be 6 months man, 6 months woman. So that's an illusion, you know. Even a person in this same life, he experienced both man and woman body. So it's a big illusion, actually. It's a great illusion. Some time ago, I saw one video that One teenager, he was confused about his identity, and he decided to be a girl. So his mother supported him, and he started to take hormones, to become like a woman. And one day at the school, the teacher addressed him as a woman. And he became more bewildered. He said, no, I'm not a woman, I'm a man. How is that happening to me? So he went back to his mother. I don't want to be a woman, I want to be a man. Okay, don't stop taking the hormones. Make up your mind, either way or the other. I mean, Prabhupada himself has to deal with this situation, that one man coming to the temple, sometime he will come dressed as a woman, sometime as a man. Prabhupada told him, make up your mind, choose one of them. So all this a big illusion is ignorance, actually. That's a misidentification of the soul with the body. I mean, if a man think himself a man, that's a big illusion. But if a man think himself a woman, is double illusion. or a woman think herself a man, It's the same thing. It's a big illusion. Because people need spiritual knowledge, actually. People are suffering only due to ignorance. And bad karma, that's bad karma. You got the body, whatever body it is, because of your past karma, you may not feel comfortable with your body for some reason. But that's very, not good for you, because it's create confusion, more confusion in your mind. And, you need acceptance from others, and it's a big deal. It's a big problem. But nowadays they're trying to make it like normal, like as acceptable, It's not normal. It's not normal in the sense that everybody got the body they have to get according to their karma. So you have to accept the body you have. So the only way to get out of this troubles and confusion is to have a spiritual knowledge that you are not the body, you are a spirit soul. You are different from all this. You should look for your spiritual identity. That's the real identity. Eternal spiritual identity is to become servant of Krishna. So we have in the past times that men wanted to become gopīs, but that was next life, not in the same life. In the next life, they were born when Krishna was doing his pastime in another universe, or the same universe, whatever situation may be, because Krishna comes only once in a day of Brahma. So that's a long time. So if there is not in one universe, then those souls go to another universe where Krishna is there doing his pastimes. But that's transcendental. That's once you get that, that's forever. That's not changing back and forth. Once you get it for good. Either as Krishna's friends. Yesterday, Tyler was asking me about the verse that if all souls are females, how is that? I said, no, in the spiritual world there are boys also. They are Krishna's friends. Krishna's father also, But the idea is that because all of them are serving Krishna, Krishna is enjoying their service as energy. All energies are female, Prakṛti. Prakṛti means female, energy. And Krishna is puruṣa, is the only supreme enjoyer. So in that spiritual sense, all energies are subordinate to Krishna, and therefore female, feminine. And Krishna is the only male, the supreme enjoyer. In that spiritual sense, we have to understand it. So if anybody has a comment or question, please do. Thank you for coming to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna. pass the mic, please.
So it seems that in that analogy, it kind of uses a more earthly or material allegory to explain the relationship of us to Krishna, with saying that Krishna is the only male and all souls are female because they are subordinate to him.
Yes.
So it's kind of using like a construct of, perhaps an older rooted construct to explain the relationship between us to Krishna, that we are all subordinate to him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we are being maintained by him.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh.
we need air, we need food to survive in this world, and who's producing, who's providing the material energy, but who's controlling the material energy? God is controlling the material energy. It's subordinate to him. You know, so in that sense, we are being maintained by Krishna. We are being provided by Krishna all our needs. So he's the real protector.
Yes. I heard once the analogy that Krishna he's like our king, but he is also like our servant king. Like he does protect and give us everything. And in that, not to say that Krishna is our servant in any way, because we are servants of him.
Yes.
But that idea of like servant king, he is our king, he is above us, but he still gives us everything that we have.
Yes, but he's not serving us.
Yes.
He's protecting us. It's a different thing. Out of his kindness and mercy, he's like a father to his sons, you know. He's protecting out of love. No, God is not our servant.
Yes,
you know, it's not people go to God, say, give me this, give me that. They think God is their servant. He has to provide everything I ask for. God is not our, office boy,
Yeah.
or their carrier,
Yeah, he's not our errand.
No.
But,
no, that's wrong idea. The idea is that he's supporting and providing and protecting, and so we have to be grateful and do love and serve him in return. That's the natural thing to do. No?
Cool. Yeah.
Pass it to her.
Hi, Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. So is it wrong for us to pray to Krishna for a good husband or a good wife that's gonna help us, that's gonna make our spiritual life more like conducive? So what should we do? Is it like a material desire then? If we ask Krishna, should we just like not say anything and just put ourselves in Krishna's hands? Or because we want something that is going to enhance that spiritual life. So what are we to do in this case?
Very good question. You remind me of one pastime of Lord Chaitanya in Navadvip. When he was a teenager, young teenager, he will go to the Ganges River, and there were many young girls worshipping Lord Shiva with ornaments, flowers, and fruit and food to please Lord Shiva, so they get blessed to have a good husband. So Lord Chaitanya will challenge them and tell them, I am the master of Lord Shiva. All this offering you should offer to me. If you don't do it, I will curse you to marry an old man with 5 co-wives. I'm poor. No, take all the offering, please. Take all the offerings for you. Like that. So Prabhupada said in the purport, that in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that women who want to have a good husband, they should worship Lord Chaitanya, and he will satisfy their desire. Well, of course, good husband means a devotee, of course. A good devotee who will be responsible materially and spiritually both. So that is okay, that's acceptable, But in the ultimate spiritual sense, we should be more dependent on Krishna's protection for eternal life, eternal happiness, Understand?
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Yes?
So on the other side of that same idea, is there anything in particular that like a man should do when seeking like a female partner to enhance spirituality as well? Is there any particular answer for that other side?
You remind me, and also of one question one man asked Prabhupada in South America, Venezuela, after that lecture. He said, Master, I hear that the best thing for everyone is to get married, that's good for their spiritual life. Is it true? Prabhupada said, no. The best thing for you is to remain celibate, brahmachari. But because you can't, then you become a bachelor daddy. And that is not good. That's sinful, Prabhupada said. So nothing should be done artificially, in the sense, of course, if somebody can't remain celibate, then get married. Be responsible, Try to raise a family in Krishna consciousness, That's acceptable. That's recommendable. But best thing is to remain,
Yes.
If you can't do it, that's the best. If you can't, okay, you accept the second best. It's also best in the sense that you learn to be more responsible and and to help your family be Krishna conscious, like that. So that's also spiritual service to Krishna if you bring your family to him,
Yes.
in that sense.
Is it all right if I ask one other follow-up question?
Yes.
So then on the concept of, this might be, and it's okay if this is like too long of an answer or something, but on the concept of I hear the term grihasta, like when
Grihata's married, yes.
Yes, so that's still in line with like the teachings, or is that?
Yeah, that's fell in line with the teaching of Krishna, because Krishna created those different stages of life,
Okay.
Brahmachari is celibate and married, and when he reached the age of 25 or more, if he wants to get married, he's allowed to do it. The brahmachari life is to imbibe the renunciation from this material world.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody can't imbibe it fully, then he's allowed to get married. But also with the idea that one day I have to give it up. Not until the time of death,
Yeah.
When you are old enough, the children are grown up, the wife is old, then you can just become vanaprastha, give up sex life and just retire, get more into the spiritual life. Different stages of life.
And so that direction comes directly from Krishna?
That's correct.
Okay, and then the other side of that, with the advocacy for celibacy, that comes from the words of Prabhupada?
From Krishna also.
Also from through Prabhupada.
From Krishna and Prabhupada, both.
Okay.
This is parampara, the cyclic succession.
So it's a bit of
These are 4 stages of life.
Okay.
4 stages of life.
Okay, I see.
Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasi.
So, but brahmachari that can
The beginning.
that can go on.
Beginning from the age of 5 shall start. To study, become aware of the importance of controlling the mind, the senses. But unfortunately nowadays children are being bombarded, over sexualization and all these crazy things going on, It's too bad.
Yeah.
But originally that was the teaching, Remain celibate until the age of 25, and then if you get married, can get married. Want to continue as celibate, can continue. It's up to each one. Prabhupada once told the devotees, all women should get married, and all men should remain brahmacharis. Then who the women are going to marry, Prabhupada?
That's the only flaw in our philosophy.
Give me the mic, please. We want to hear what they're saying. Pass the mic to them.
Oh, it's on the bench.
Thank you. And what I heard is that then he told the temple president that they had to figure out how to work it out so that all the women can be married and all the men can remain celibate.
You said
But when
it's a flaw?
Prabhupada said that, he said that all the women should get married, all the men should stay celibate. He said this is the only flaw in our philosophy.
Yes. Give the mic to her, please. What's your name, by the way?
Mita.
Mita.
Yeah. So I was going to ask that exactly. Is that apply just to men, or like you're saying, Prabhupada said that all women should marry. And so why is that, like, why shouldn't I, if I'm able to be celibate, just dedicate to spiritual life? Is it Krishna wants me to be a mother?
No, that is good also. I mean to say, Prabhupada told his lady disciple, if you can't get good husband, then accept Krishna as your husband. Is the blueprints. All want to have a beautiful, prince as a husband. So Krishna is I mean, that's general, Exceptions are there, of course, Well,
how would I know? How would I know what Krishna wants me to do? To be a wife, or just dedicate, like... Well,
I mean to say, Krishna gives you free will to decide what you want, You have to know yourself if you want this or that, Krishna satisfies all desire, but he doesn't force you one way or the other. He wants you to exercise your free will, and take your own decisions, Of course, by the guidance of the scriptures and, the guru and sadhus, take the right decision, Generally in Vedic culture, when couple want to get married, they do their astrological chart to see if they are compatible, in nature, They are both spiritually inclined. If one is too materialistic and the other more spiritual, there'll be conflict. So they do the chart to find out if they are compatible in character and taste, They have taste for the spiritual life or not. So that's part of, it's a material, but it's necessary, for these things, So, I mean, if somebody if it is in your karma to get married, you will get. If it is not in your karma, it is maybe, Of course, Krishna can change the karma if we surrender to him,
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I just want to let you know there is one question pending on the Zoom.
Please do.
Yes, Maharaj, my humble obeisances. My question is, why is it that if a person is not a devotee of Lord Krishna, he is recognized as being no better than a thief?
A thief? Who say that? I mean, a thief in the sense that is enjoying things without offering them to Krishna. I mean, if you cook food and you don't offer it to God, you are a thief because you are not offering to what belongs to the owner, Understand the mean? If you find something and you should return it to the owner. If you keep it for yourself, you're a thief. So Krishna is the supreme owner of everything, and if we don't offer him what we eat, what we do, then we are thieves. That's the spiritual way to understand it. One last question.
I just had a comment for that, if that's all right.
Yes, okay.
So essentially, I think that idea, to add to that, it kind of goes under the idea that we actually own something, which we do not. Everything in this world is from Krishna, and so therefore, for the idea of us, the idea of us actually owning something without being conscious of the fact that it is not
He's
ours,
the supreme owner, yes.
Yes, then it is under a similar idea as thievery, I suppose.
Yeah, that's true. That's correct.
Yeah,
that's correct.
It's through ignorance or something.
It's under our care. We have things under our care.
Right.
And you have to take care of things under your care. But you know who's the real owner, Krishna. That's the conclusion. Thank you, everyone, very much. Hare Krishna.